सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं भगवत्पादं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तन्तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरुन् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। यत्साक्षात् सच्चिदानन्दं प्रत्यगद्वयमक्रियं तन्नमामि नृसिंह योगिगम्यं परं पदं खानिलाग्न्यद्धरित्रं सर्पणीमुद्गतं यतः ध्वान्तच्छिदे नमस्तस्मै हरये बुद्धिसाक्षिणे। Going to look at questions, but Yogi ji is not here yet. Let's start it. We will see questions as we go by. Okay. So what do we have here? So third adhyaya, tritiya adhyaya. Third adhyaya is, yep, begins here. So tritiya adhyaya. Sorry. The Tika, Shri Bhava Tattva, Prakashika, Tikakara Chitrukacharya says, Vrittam Sankirtayati. So what has gone by? Sambandoktikara, Bhagavan Vartikara looks into that. For what purpose? Vartishyamanasya adhyayasya sangatim darshayitum. So ended with a tumun. So we are not used to that. So generally, those who don't understand, they have to do anvaya. So vartishyamanasya adhyasya sangatim darshayitum vrittam sankirtayati. Kaha? Bhagavan Sureshwaracharya. So what has gone by, he looks into that. For what purpose? To show the connection of the third chapter with the second chapter, or connection of the third chapter between the second and third chapter. Vartishyamanasya adhyayasya, the chapter that has come up now, which will come up now. Vartishyamana, lutlakara there. So lutlakara, in a future tense, bhavishyat kala, there is a shanaj there, bhavishyat sanaj. Thereby, sarvo ayamiti. Sarvaha ayam pramiti pramana prameya pramatru lakshana. So I'll answer the question which has come up. It's a basic question. See, the questions which have come up, there's a mix. It's a mix of very basic questions and very advanced questions. So I suspect some reading here and there. So some reading here and there will bring up such questions. These questions are there in the Grantha. These have been asked, especially when Prakriya Bheda is being discussed, or Prakriya, one Prakriya objects to another Prakriya, or another Prakriya objects to one Prakriya, the first and second. So between Bhamati followers and between Vivarna followers, there is always a aropa on, always an aropa on the question about the Prakriya. But you have to understand these are all Prakriyas. So anyway, there's a mix of basic and advanced questions which have come up. We look into those. Sarvayam Pramiti Pramana Prameya Pramatru Lakshana. There was another in the question. There was also a question about Prama. So some fundamental study is needed, which was assumed. Anyway, Vyakaran also is needed. With Vyakaran also you can get this answer. So Pramiti and Prama are interchangeable words. I've always used it interchangeably. Pramiti is tin pratyanta. Bhave, which means Prama, which is also Bhave. Pramana is Prama Karanam or Pramiti Karanam Prama. So, Pramiti or Prama Karanam Pramanam. So, Pramana is Karana. Karane Vitpatti Lyut, Karane Lyut. Prameya is ya pratyaya, ya generally all yat, nyat, kyat, all these pratyas, yat, which basically have ya, yaka, ya, yakara, akara, ya. These are all in yogyatartha or basically karmani vyutpatti. So prameya is karma, pramana is sadhana, karana. Pramiti or prama is that bhava, the bhavi vyutpatti, so that jnana which comes up. So sadhana for jnana is called as pramiti or pramana, the knowledge which is born. The means to that knowledge is called as pramana, and prameya is vishaya of that subject or object. Basically, it's an object of knowledge. Pramata is the subject, pramatru. So there is a question about give an example and explain. So you basic example, the most commonly used is darshana. So when your eyesight, chakshurindriya is pramana, darshanendriya, chakshurindriya. For what? For rupa, which is rupa jnana, not rupa, it's a rupa jnana, which is pramiti or prama. Rupa jnana is pramiti or prama. Chakshurindriya is pramana. Prameya is what? Rupa itself. Form or color. Basically, rupa is color. And pramata is one who is seeing, the seer. Pramata, drashta. Prameya is drishya there. So, ayam sarvaha. So, that question is answered. Sarva ayam. All of this that you see as in this prapancha, entire thing, ayam. What is this? It is characterized by lakshana. Characterized by what? Pramiti, pramana, prameya, pramata. In the Triputi, you have pramana, prameya, and pramata. This is the most common. Sometimes pramiti is added instead of pramana. So you can have all four and say it's a quartet instead of saying it's a triad. Either way, it's okay. Triputi is generally dealt with because pramiti is which is born. That is not part of it. These three exist. Pramana, prameya, and pramata exist. Pramiti comes up. Pramiti, pramana comes up due to the association of the pramana with the prameya for the pramata. So in the antakarana, you have only pramana, prameya, pramata. Why do I say prameya? Prameya is ghata, if you say, then ghatakara vritti takes place. So ghata will be prameya. For chakshurindriya, ghata rupa really. But we'll say ghata. Ghata is seen. Ghata rupa is seen. But we say ghata is known now. But ghatakara vritti takes place in the antakarana, therefore prameya is also in antakarana in tadvritti rupa, ghata vritti rupa. Pramata is anyway in the antakarana along with the bimba, the pratibimba. So that is the, so Yogiji is here. We look at that question also. So pramata is who? Pramata is, we say as drashta, jiva, samsari. Divided, because pramata is not prameya, not pramana, not pramiti. So pramata will always be different from the other two. And therefore samsari. Pramata wants prameya to be seen, heard, etc., whatever, to see, not to be seen, to see. Pramata wants to see, hear, taste, touch, smell, prameya. Therefore, he needs those kind of pramanas, means. Thereby, this pramata is a wanting person. He is lacking something. He, being an individual, is lacking almost everything other than himself. With himself also, he is not really sure whether he likes what he or she is. He calls himself he or she. There itself, he is divided. Individual, then having a particular form of human, then a particular gender, limited in all senses. So this pramata is samsari. Samsari in the sense Now, what is the Lakshana we have seen? In the end of the last part, I've looked at this question. The question has extended now. So this Pratibimba alone is not Jiva. Generally, that's how it is explained. But technically, Jiva is what? Bimba plus Pratibimba Adhisthana. Where the Pratibimba takes place, Pratibimba cannot come up without the Darpanasthaniya, Avidya or Antakarana. So in the manifest state, we'll say Antakarana. That's how he has associated himself as Ahankara, Aham, in the Buddhi, and thereby that Vijnanamaya Kosha has become Atma. That is the Jiva in the manifest. In the unmanifest, Avidya. That's where the Bija is, Ajnana. Karana Sharira is Ajnana, Avidya, in which there is a Pratibimba. Now the question was, I'll open the question also. We'll take the related question now. We took one related question. I've answered your Pramata, Prameya. So second question I've answered. Pramana, Prameya, Pramatru, Pramiti or Pramaka, Udharan, Sahita, Batane ki kripa kare. So we have done this. Now there is another question of what? There was a question. I think, okay, this was second question in the, there were, in fact, second question in the sense, there are, actually there are 6 plus 2, 8. So first two I have not answered. In the second set of 6, I have answered the second. Then, the first question, Purva Pakshi there, जब चेतना का आकार नहीं है तो बिंब का प्रतिबिंब कैसे संभव है जबकि प्रतिबिंब तो आकार का होता है दिस इज एन एडवांस क्वेश्चन as I was telling the class earlier there is a mix of fundamental and advanced questions here. I suspect that the advanced questions may have come up for you, but I suspect that it is due to some reading where this question is dealt with. If this question came up on your own, very good. That's very nice. If came up in a reading also good, but then where you read it, this question will have been answered unless it is seen in Bhamati Grantha. So here the question is what? If the Chetana has no form, then how is the reflection possible? It's a very good question. But this is a prakriya. There are multiple ways to answer it. One will say, general answer is what? It's a prakriya. Don't go into details. It's a prakriya. If this prakriya doesn't suit you, you take some other prakriya which works. Every prakriya is limited. It cannot answer all questions. This is the first answer. Second answer is what? More generic than that. Maya sarvasya sambhavat. Maya makes all this possible. Not convincing still. No, this is a runaway answer. So I want an answer. How is it possible? So the question, even before this, the question should be what? We are Advaitavadins. Is there a second entity at all? Where there will be a reflection. So this should be the primary question which should come up. But the question where, these kind of questions, they come up in Tarka Shaili, Vada Granthas. In Advaita itself, but Vada Granthas. How is Pratibimba possible? When you are looking at it technically, it's a very technical question. So non-technical thing, you should say, how did this question come up? You should be asking, is there a second entity for reflection to take place? Second entity itself is not there. Dvitiyam eva nasti, kutha pratibimba. Pratibimba na sambhavati. You need an expectancy of second, but you cannot put the cart before the horse. So you have to say, taking all this assumption, all these assumptions in place, that there is manaha, there is whatever it is, avidya, antakarana, wherever you see the pratibimba, those things are taken for granted initially, and then the prakriya comes up. So it's a technical answer. You cannot answer. The question should be, if you see from the Advaita perspective, Chaitanya does not have Rupa, right? But Chaitanya is one without a second. So the question should not come up really at that level. When you are at a level of Chaitanyam, Chaitanya does not have any shape or form or color. Rupa is color really. But he has asked Akara. So Rupa is also seen as Akara, but in the Grantha, Rupa does not have a form. So technical question will be answered only in a technical way. So there you need tarka abhyasa. I have given two non-technical answers. The third answer, which is technical as well as non-technical, is the question should be asked to this Purva Pakshi. If Chaitanya is one, then you should be asking the question as to not as why, how is Pratibimba possible? Not having akara. The Chaitanya which does not have an akara also does not have anything else other than itself. Chaitanya, another Chaitanya, anyat Chaitanya api nasti. Chaitanya bhinna achetana api nasti. So there is no second entity. So the question of reflection does not arise. So not only of the akara, there is nothing else. So this is the technical, non-technical answer. Now the technicality. For this you need tarka. So Tarkika, using tarka, this question comes up. How is it that, assume that there is a second entity, be it mithya, how is it that there is pratibimba? So we say, do you understand that it is mithya, second entity? Then pratibimba is also mithya, which is similar to the second answer. Maya sarvasya sambhava. Maya makes second entity possible. Without akara also it makes the pratibimba possible. Again, not very convincing. So you go more technical. So more technical is what? Tarkika says rupa. So here akara has been used. I'll use the word rupa or akara. Answer will be similar. Rupa rahitasya grahanam, pratyaksha grahanam na sambhavati. Tarkika says that there has to be rupa for pratyaksha. For any pratyaksha to take place, you need rupa. So then Siddhanti, there, meaning there's a debate there. So in Tarka Granthas. So there, Siddhanti, so same question. Chaitanya does not have rupa. How is it that it is reflected? Because reflection also is not possible without rupa. Just like pratyaksha is not possible, there is no possibility of reflection also without rupa. And rupa has both meanings, color also, akar also. So this question will fit in there. So Siddhanti says rupa, color. Now we'll take the meaning of form itself. Akara question is there. Color and so color, rupa. Does rupa have rupa? Question Yogi ji. Does rupa, see what has rupa? Ghata has rupa. Ghata pratibimba is possible as per you. Akara is there. Ghata has akara. Ghata pratibimba is possible in darpana, right? Now does ghata have rupa, color, form, both? Yes. So do you see the
Yes.
akara of the ghata reflected in darpana? You see.
Yes.
Do you see the color of the ghata reflected in the darpana? Do you see?
Yes.
Yes. Now the question is, you see ghata also, you see ghata akara also, and you see ghata color also reflected in the darpana. Now the question is, if there is a rule, if there is a rule, this rule is assumed, this is assumed as an axiom. If there is a rule that akara, that which has akara alone can have reflection. This is the assumption. Then the question is, let the ghata have pratibimba. Why is the akara having pratibimba and the color also having pratibimba? Why do you see redness of the pot? If there is a red pot, why do you see red reflected? Let only the ghata reflect. Because ghata has rupa, whether it is akara or color, ghata has color. But does the color have color? Or does the form have form? Form does not have form. But form
Mm.
is reflected. Does color have color? No. But color is reflected. So therefore, there is no niyama. There, technically, this niyama is wrong. That which has rupa, akara or color alone will have reflection. See, this is a counter given by to the Tarkika when he says that Rupa is needed for Pratyaksha. The same answer is given for Chaitanya having Pratibimba. Chaitanya Pratibimba is not possible because Chaitanya does not have Rupa. If this is the argument, we ask you, how is the Ghata Rupa? Ghata has Rupa, but Ghata Rupa does not have Rupa. Ghata has Akara, but Ghata Akara does not have Akara. Ghata has Ranga, color, but the color does not have color, but they are still reflected. So there is no niyama. So this is a technical answer. Rupa rahitasyapi rupasya pratyakshत्वम् तथा एव रूपरहितस्य चैतन्यस्य प्रतिबिंबित्वम्. Pratyaksha means Pratibimba is Pratyaksha there. So it is extended. I hope it is clear. It's a technical answer. Non-technical, I have given 3. Whichever is convincing, use that. You cannot have hold on to this answer. Now, where this question comes up in Advaita Granthas is when there is a, my memory doesn't fail me, this question will come up in the Tika of Naishkarmyasiddhi, I think. It should come up. Or even if it doesn't come up, I think in Naishkarmyasiddhi Grantha sometime I had come across this as well. As an akshepa on the, this thing in the Mula itself, I think there's an akshepa on the other Bhamati Anuyayis. They have this prakriya where Avachedavada. So this is a debate between Avachedavada followers and the Pratibimba or the Abhasavada followers. Abhasa and Pratibimba is very close. There is a very great technical difference there. In Pratibimbavada, Pratibimba is not Mithya. So Jiva is not Mithya, Jiva is Bimba Abhinna. Pratibimba is Bimba Abhinna. Jiva is Brahma Abhinna. So this is the Mukhya Prakriya, Vivarana Prakriya, which is Pratibimbavada. Where Pratibimba is not Mithya, Pratibimba is Bimba only. We have seen how. The other thing is Bimba is Ishvara. Bimba is Nirguna Abhinna Saguna, Brahma. Which is exactly in line with Bhagavan Bhashyakara. Bhagavan Bhashyakara uses the Brahma word for both. Nirguna also, Saguna also. You have to find out where what is the meaning. He does not say Nirguna, Saguna. Very rarely will he talk about it. Bhagavan Bhashyakara is very clear. There are no two Brahmas, Saguna, Nirguna. Brahma is one. From our side, it appears Saguna. From the side, which is not a side actually, which is Paramartha Tattva, there it is Nirguna. So the same Nirguna appears as Saguna. There are no two. So he says that is the Bimba. Vivaranakara Bhagavan says that is the Bimba, that Saguna is reflected, Nirguna is not reflected. So that's another answer for Yogi ji. You think that Chaitanya is reflected, but in Vivarana, Pratibimbavada, Saguna is reflected, not Nirguna. Saguna is not separate from Nirguna. So that is also an answer. So where this question comes up there is how can Chaitanya, because Chaitanya is talking about Chaitanya is Shuddha Chaitanya. Why do you say Saguna now? Why do you switch sides? Suddenly you change from Nirguna to Saguna as per the convenience. Yes, that's how it is. But in Tarka, you cannot do that. When you are going into very technical analysis, you cannot say, oh, same is Saguna, Nirguna. It can be an answer for a sadhaka who has to move on. But technically, when you are fighting a battle, you cannot, meaning Tarka battle, you cannot use such escape routes. It will appear as escape routes. It is not an escape route. It's a fact. But then in Prakriya, you have to be technically correct as much as possible. You can't say, I can't answer it. You have to give some answer. So, Avachedavada, Pratibimbavada. In the Abhasavada, Bimba is Nirguna and Jiva is Ajnana Pratibimbita. Pratibimbita is Abhasa, Mithya. And Ishvara is also Mithya. Ishvara is Maya Pratibimba, Abhasa. Mukhya Bimba is Nirguna. So Nirguna has two Pratibimbas, Abhasas, not Pratibimbas. Word technically is Abhasa. One is Jiva in Avidya and another is Ishvara in Maya. So that is Abhasavada. In Avachedavada, the example uses what? Not Pratibimba or Abhasa. What is used? It is Ghatakasha, Matakasha. Matakasha Sthaniya is Ishvara, Ghatakasha Sthaniya is Jiva, and Mahakasha Sthaniya is Nirguna Brahma, Satchidananda Brahma. So Purvapakshi Bhamatikara asked the question of Vivarna as to how is it that Chaitanya, which is Rupa Rahita, has a reflection. So this answer is given, the answer I gave you. So this question comes in Bhamati Granthas as well. So the answer is given. But Avachedavada also there is a question. The difference between Vivarna and Bhamati is also this. They use this example in the, now this question will come up in the third chapter opening. So we'll see more details there. We have seen this earlier also. Avidya has a Vishaya and Adhisthana. Avidya cannot be hanging in the air. It needs to be there. In the air also, when you say Akasha is the Adhisthana. So where does the Avidya rest? And what is the Vishaya of Avidya? Ajnana. So there is a difference between Vivarana and Bhamati. Vivaranakara we have seen in the Vivarana Mata, this Grantha. Naishkarmyasiddhi also says Brahma is the Vishaya and Brahma is the Adhisthana also.
Ashraya.
Ashraya. Vishaya and Ashraya Bhagini, the Chit, Kevala Chit only. Nirvikara.
Oh, yes.
Bhamati says that Jiva is the Ashraya. He says Vishaya, let the Brahma be the Vishaya, but Jiva is the Ashraya. Now the question is, Vivarana followers, ask the Bhamati followers. If Jiva is the Ashraya for Ajnana, Jiva is the Karya of Ajnana. So Jiva, who is Karya of Ajnana, how can that Jiva become Ashraya? So there is a technical flaw there. So, of course, I mean, every Prakriya will have flaw. So Vivarana also asks Bhamati. Bhamati also has an answer. They have to answer. So they give an answer. Just like Ghatakasha, where is the Ghatakasha? In the Ghata. Ghatakasha is in the Ghata.
Ghata.
So Ghata is the Ashraya for Ghatakasha. But Ghatakasha itself is now this Ghata is Karya as well. Akasha was there earlier also. But still, what was earlier, for that the Karya became the Ashraya. Akasha was there. Ghata came up in Akasha.
Yes.
So Ghata is also in Akasha. In space, Ghata is not elsewhere. It is in Akasha. In some Desha it is there. And then Ghata Antargata Desha, that Akasha, you call as Ghatakasha. And although Ghata is born in Akasha, still it becomes Ashraya for Akasha. Ghadakasha. So it's an answer given there. So basically what Prakriya Bheda, whichever Prakriya is appealing, go with that. Technicalities are good to inquire into. It makes your buddhi sharp. So Drishyate to Agreya Buddhya, says Kathopanishad. So buddhi should be sharp. These questions should come up and they should be answered. You can have more and more questions. Not all questions are answerable. So for that you have to have a lot of study. If there are questions, and they can be endless. If you give an answer, I can ask you another question. So you keep on asking questions, it is endless. So wherever there is a end point, so Bhamati stops with answering this. Vivarana stops by answering this. Further, there are no questions really. If there are questions, no, I don't agree with it. You may or may not agree. If Avachedavada is agreeable, you use that. If Pratibimbavada is appealing, use that. Abhasavada is more appealing to many. Then Bhagavan Vidyaranacharya expands this in Panchadashi. We have seen this in Paksha in Vicharasagara. Their Vicharasagara follows Abhasavada more, which is okay. It is an offshoot of Pratibimbavada, where they give, there is a definition for each. So every arrangement is explained. Like we using Pratibimba, But in Pratibimba with the cloud and the water, so cloud holds water and the pot also holds water. The pot will also have reflection in the water it has, and cloud will also have reflection in the water that it has. This is an extension assumption. So you say that if there is water which can reflect sun or moon, if it in the pot, if it is there is water, it reflects. Then in cloud also, if there is water, then cloud also should reflect. That water also should reflect. Thereby, Ishvara and Jiva Veda. So there is a different arrangement there. There is an Akasha in Ghata which can hold only so much of water. And there is an Akasha outside, Mahakasha. In the cloud also there is Akasha, and that Akasha can hold only a lot more water, but still so much. Ishwarasthaniya. Ishwarasthaniya, Pratibimba there. And then Mahakasha, Akasha will also reflect in water. In the cloud water also, and in the water in the pot also. So using that, lot of definitions are given with that prakriya. That appeals, go with that. Either way, all of these are prakriyas only. They will have their own flaws. Preferably do not mix up prakriyas because it can get confusing. For your personal sadhana, you can mix up and use also. If you say, no, this is how it works for me. Yes, you can have your own prakriya, mixing up or come up with your own, no issues. What should not be compromised? Advaita Tattva. As long as Advaita Tattva is not compromised and you don't have issues of, facing others and establishing your prakriya and showing others, this is my prakriya, it's okay. So go with either, any of these prakriyas, not either. There are not two. Yeah. In fact, Bhagavan Vartiyakara says elsewhere, yeah, bhavet pumsam vyutpatti pratyagatmani. In pratyagatma, there should be vyutpatti understanding. Whichever prakriya leads to that, through which prakriya, that is sadhvi. Saiva sadhvi. And it is not limited. He says you can use as many prakriyas that you want and land there. So anyway, so first question of Purva Pakshi is answered. This is also a good question. Shravana is a manasik karma. This has been answered here in this very text. You may not recall, or maybe you are not in sync then. So, आचार्य द्वारा श्रुति के महावाक्य श्रवण से जीव ईश्वर ऐक्यता सो ऐक्यता इट शुड बी ऐक्यता घटित होती है, लेकिन श्रवण भी तो मानसिक कर्म है, जबकि कोई कर्म अज्ञान विरोधी है. So he's made a correction, not ajnana virodhi, jnana virodhi. So karma jnana virodhi. Karma is jnana virodhi. Jnana is karma virodhi. Why? Because it's from karana. There is no sakshat virodha between karma and jnana. That way, ajnana karyatvat eva. So karma brings in bandhana. Jnana releases from bandhana. So that is the virodha. So Mahavakya also through Shravana is Manasika. Yes, it is Manasika. But the question came up earlier also. Karma cannot lead to Mukti because it is Ajnana Karya. Jnana Vritti is also Ajnana Karya. How is it not Jnana Virodhi? How is it Ajnana? How is it Ajnana Virodhi and not Jnana Virodhi? Jnana cannot be Jnana Virodhi. First answer. Right? Manasika karma is Jnana Virodhi. Yes, it is Jnana Virodhi. But depends on what kind of. Upasana is Jnana Virodhi. Upasana, where there is Bheda Upasana, is Advaita Jnana Virodhi. Upasana, which is Ahangra Upasana, is not really Advaita Jnana Virodhi. It facilitates Advaita Jnana. But being karma, it should be opposing to Jnana because it is Ajnana Karya. That's a valid question. So Siddhanti answered in this very Grantha, when Purva Pakshi, Purva Mimamsaka asked, karma does not lead to mukti, you said, because it is Ajnana Karya. But so is Jnana Vritti Ajnana Karya, be it of the nature of Aham Brahmasmi. But still it is Manasika Karma, it is Avidya Karya, so it should be Vidya Virodhi. Siddhanti said, there is a difference. Karma, to give its phala, till its phala, to be born also needs ajnana. To sustain also needs ajnana, and to give its phala also needs ajnana. Jnana is not like that. Manasika karma, all right, but its akara is brahmakara. Meaning, when it comes up, it needs antakarana, therefore it is ajnana karya. But to sustain, it does not need, you can say antakarana is still needed. So let's say for sustenance also. But to give its phala, it is ajnana virodhi. Jnana and ajnana are opposed to each other. So every manasika karma is not, see, if you say, it is like saying, what, let's say somebody, my guru told me, you take Rama Nama, okay, Namasmarana, manasika karma. Now instead of that, I say, what is it, manasika karma? Let me take Ravana Nama. So if I say Ravana, 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 will it help me? Two manasika karmas are not same. Rama Nama helps me, punya karyatvat. Ravana Nama does not help me. May not be punya karya, may not be papa karya also, let's say. Ravana, I can say Ravana, maybe it does not bring me papa, let's assume that. But it will not give me punya. So, two manasika karyas need not be of the same nature. Manasika karmas need not be this of the same nature, they need not give a same result. So, there the Siddhanti said that because this ajnana karya is aham baddha, aham brahma bhinna, aham samsari. All of these ideas, manushya, purusha, stri, ityadi, chota admi. So all of these ideas, Puja Swamiji's word, chota admi. So these are all ajnana karyas. But that vritti is opposed, is in line with ajnana and jnana virodhi. But the jnana which is of the order of what? Aham Satchidananda Brahma. And the vritti is also of the same. Your Swarupa is Satchidananda Brahma, and the Manasika Vritti also says that you are Satchidananda Brahma. Where is the opposition? There is no opposition. The opposition is with Ajnana, which says Chota Admi. Which says you are Mahatattva, Brihivriddha, you are Brahma, Ananta Tattva. So Ananta and Antavat has opposition. Ananta and Ananta has no opposition. So for phala, there is no dependency on ajnana to come up only. Another example, this is a question that Nama Sadhaka asked me as well. He says, this is also manasika karma. He said, I am a Vedanti, but I am also Nama Sadhaka. Both are giving same results. I said, no. Nama Sadhana works by giving punya. Advaita Brahmakara Vritti gives absolutely zero punya. There is no punya. Because it is taking away punya also. It is taking away papa punya paribhasha itself. Papa Punya accrues to someone who is limited. Punya and Papa are separate, real, existent things other than that entity, Atma. That is not the case. Brahmakara Vritti will not give you Punya because Brahmakara Vritti will take away Papa, Punya, all of that. That is how Brahmakara Vritti works. Ajnana Nashik. It will Ajnana Nashika, Nashika Vritti. So that which takes away Ajnana, how will it give Ajnana Karya Punya? Punya is also Ajnana Karya. So for Sadhaka, Punya is also Badhaka. Does not mean one should not do Punya Karma. One should do Punya Karma to counter, to stop Papa Karya. Papa Karya should stop. Then Punya, which is countering that Papa. Not all Punya counters all Papa. There are specific Punyas which counter specific Papas. So such Prayashchita Karma should be done. Then Punya Karma is continue. Everything drops off. Papa Karma, Prayashchita Karma, Punya is accumulated so that you get Chitta Shuddhi. So Parameshwara Prityartham, Priti Dwara. So why Priti Dwara means Parameshwara Prityartham, and what? Mamopata Durita Kshaya Dwara. Durita is Papa, Papa Kshaya Dwara. Papa Kshaya should take place, and through that Paramatma Priti, Punya. Then that will give Chitta Shuddhi. Then Jnana. That Jnana will take away everything. Then Punya, Papa Paribhasha is all gone. Papa is all gone long back. Punya goes away as well. So, not all karmas, be it manasika, are all are ajnana karya, but not all are supporting and building karma, some are opposing ajnana. No, building ajnana, they are opposing. Some manasika karmas oppose ajnana, some manasika karmas support ajnana. So those which support, they are all in the Dvaita field. Those which oppose, they are in this Mahavakya and Tajjanya, samskaras. So the answer I gave, the example is, now those who do japa, puja, and they collect all these. So both are karmas. Okay? You spend money and buy clothes for Bhagavan, abhushana for Bhagavan, asana for Bhagavan, for puja, utensils, silver utensils for Bhagavan, right? Gold ornaments for Bhagavan. All of this accumulation is karma, right? Ajnana karya. We'll say ajnana karya only. Just comparing karma, okay? I'll not say ajnana karya here. So puja. So it'll all give punya. Then second is what? You clean up the area. You clean up. Take it away. So you throw away old clothes. You clean up for Bhagavan to be seated. All. So both are karmas. So accumulation of things and doing away with things, both are karmas. Are both same? Do they give the same phala?
No.
So now going from this to Laukika example, where it will make more sense. With Bhagwan's puja, I cannot use this. For that other person, I'd use this. Let's say, you order a lot of things online. They come in boxes. So you accumulate all these boxes. Then you throw away these boxes. Accumulating boxes versus throwing back boxes. Both are karma. But are they giving the same result? Cleaning up is also karma. But cleaning up karma is opposed to accumulation. So, Brahmakara Vritti, although it is Manasika Vritti, it takes away everything. So, taking away is not same as accumulating. The others accumulate punya or papa. This does not accumulate anything. This takes away everything. So, that is the answer. I hope it is clear. So, the first question is done. Second question is done. श्लोक 1 ग्राहक ग्रहण और ग्राह्य तो समझ में आया, लेकिन अस्मद और उष्मद विभाग क्या है? So grahaka, grahana, grahya, if you understood, then the second question should not have come up. Pramana, prameya, pramata. They are in the same meaning. Anyway, so that we have answered. Asmad and Yushmad. Asmad is I, Yushmat is you. That's what it literally means. But Asmad and Yushmad are used to show, because Asmad and Yushmad are opposed to each other. I cannot say I am going, instead of that I cannot say you are going. There is no confusion for anyone between I and you. Therefore, Asmad and Yushmad are used. Otherwise, what it means? It means Chetana and Achetana. So Yushmad means Jada, the other, and Asmat means I. So Yushmad has been used
I.
because Idam word is used for, instead of Idam, Yushmad has been used. So this prapancha, when you say this, there Bhagavan Bhashyakara has used Yushmad Asmat Pratyay Gocharyo in Adhyasa Bhashya. And same idea is used here, and I'll explain why. Because Idam need not have opposition with Aham. Idam and Aham. Had he used Aham and Idam instead of Asmad and Yushmad, meaning Aham and Tom has not been used, Asmad and
Idam.
Yushmad have been used in the Samasa. So Asmad and Yushmad have opposition, I and you, in word usage. Nobody gets confused. But this and I, there can be confusion, I or we. Because in many languages, in English also it is there. If you say, we are going, okay, then we say, who, these of us, all of these we are going together. Don't we use that? All of us are going together, all of these people, we are going together. So in Samanadikarana, all are these are we. Or what kind of you? You say this kind of me, I am this kind of a person. Don't we use this? I am this kind of a person. I am not that kind of person. So this and I are in Samanadikarana. There is no opposition there. So idam and aham. So vayam, etadrishaha vayam. When you have to explain, so ayam. So ayam Ayam, idrisha ayam aham gachami. So there is a prayoga in Samanadikaram. There is no opposition. Therefore, it is used. Hope this is also clear. So this question is done. Yushmad and Asmad
Yes,
are
Swami.
used to show because they have contrast. Nobody can get confused. There is tamah prakashavat viruddha swabhava between Asmad and Yushmad. But between idam and aham, it may not be. Therefore, uh, the words have been used. They are in the meaning of chetana aham and achetana
Achha,
idam,
Jan. Vishnu.
sharira or. So second question I have already answered, प्रमाण प्रयोग। मनोनाश और वासना क्षय क्या वास्तव में संभव है या इसका लक्ष्यार्थ कुछ और है? This is a Jivamukti level question. See, Vedantis, Shuddha Vedantis, who are not very much in line with orthodoxy, they don't talk about Manonasha and Vasanakshaya. They don't like the term also, many of them. But this has dealt extensively in Yoga Vasishta and also in Jivan Mukti Viveka by Bhagavan Vidyaranacharya. You cannot have Artha Jarati Nyaya. If you don't need it, it's okay. You are happy with the fourth stage. I talked about this in the last patha. There are Sapta Bhumikas, out of which fourth is sufficient for Mukti. But if you need Ananda or if there is Badaka in Ananda and you are not okay with it, Prarabdha brings you back to Loka, talking about sannyasis. For them, Manonasha and Vasanakshaya are given as a vidhi, as though a vidhi. There cannot be a vidhi, but vividisha sannyasa, and then it is only for samadhi abhyasa and jnana abhyasa. Jnana abhyasa, samadhi abhyasa, we have seen this. So, jnana rakshana also, and vasanakshaya, whether it is possible, yes, it is possible. But the question is, those who say vasanakshaya is not possible, and those who say vasanakshaya is possible, there is a misunderstanding there. You have to fill that gap. I'm not saying that there is a misunderstanding of one person or anyone. Those who do akshepa, they have misunderstood. Vasanakshaya is not possible. Vasanas are ananta because anadi kalata. We have all sorts of vasanas of all forms possible. Kita to Brahma Loka, all forms possible. All shariras possible. We have all vasanas. But we are not, the Shastra does not talk about vasanakshaya of that order. It talks about vasanas which manifest and become badaka now, in this janma, in prarabdha which is there. So when you sit in dhyana or shravana, mind wanders. That is due to vasanas. So you have to counter those vasanas. Otherwise, shravana won't take place. Dhyana won't take place. For a jnani also, for a yogi also. Meaning jnana sadhaka also, jidnyasu, and yoga marurukshu also. आरुरुक्षो मुने कर्म कारणमुच्यते योगम आरुरुक्षो भगवान गीताचार्य एंड देन तस्यैव आरूढ़स्य शम कारणमुच्यते शमा बिकम्स शमा इज संन्यास उपरति संन्यास कर्म त्याग सो कर्म इज नीडेड फॉर वन कर्म त्याग फॉर अनदर नाउ कर्म त्याग संन्यासी व्हाट शुड ही डू he does not have any kavacha to protect himself. For jnana rakshana, he has to do jnana abhyasa and shravana, punah shravanam kuryat, and he has to work on vasana kshaya if he wants ananda abhivakti. If he does not want, it's okay. And there can be prarabdha beda also. In those, see, sukha is by prarabdha. In your prarabdha, you should have sukha. Dukkha is because prarabdha is there that drags you back. Now, those who don't care, it's okay. You can stay there. One will get Videya Mukti. But Jivan Mukti is not possible. Jivan Mukti is not possible without Vasanakshaya technically. Okay. The general usage of the term Jnana is there is Jivan Mukta that you can use. So, he is Jivan Mukta. If he is Jivan Mukta, he will not have trouble. So, there are a lot of, I don't want to give into those, but there are a lot of Siddhis talked about. Siddhis become Badakas. In Yoga Shastra, those who have studied of Yoga Shastra, Vibhuti Pada itself says that it's Badaka. The last Vibhuti when it's talked about, after that Kaivalya Pada opens up, fourth Pada. Kaivalya is Moksha in Yoga Shastra. Moksha is not possible if you get stuck in Vibhutis. Vibhutis are a trap. They are put exactly where it is needed. So you have multiple angas of yogas, and then you come to samadhi. Now I'll go to samadhi. So vibhutis are given. Now, for in Vedanta also it is there. In Vedanta also, Jnani, these are not yoga granthas. Jnana granthas themselves talk about all of these vibhutis come to Jnani without doing any yoga abhyasa. They'll come. Whether he takes or not is up to him. He may also get trapped. Yeah. So in vibhuti, he may also get trapped. So vibhutis come or not, whether they present it or not, they showcase it or not, that is all a different matter. But vibhutis are there, talked about. Otherwise, Gita will not have those vibhutis. Bhagavad Gita also talks about that vibhuti pada, all the Aishwarya that Bhagavan has, in some form it is there in Jiva also. They start manifesting. Now they can be trap also, they can be for others also. And based on prarabdha, they use it for others also, for the welfare of the others. So whether it is by opening gurukulas or having online classes, this is all abhivyakti of Aishwarya. Starting an ashrama, making a gurukula is also Aishwarya. That is also vibhuti. Why does money come to you? People say they use some tricks and money comes in yoga. In Vedanta also the same thing. But Puja Swamiji would say, you teach Vedanta, any place where Vedanta is taught, there won't be lack of money. Why? Is there any Vedavakya like that? No. But that is Vibhuti. That is Vibhuti. Puja Swamiji has used these words. Where you teach Vedanta, see, he would say, don't think about the future. Do this, do that, I'll do that. All that is another samsara. He said, you teach Vedanta, you will survive. Yes, it is not for money that anyone is doing. You'll survive. So you tell some teachers, So just I know I'm quoting in context. I'm quoting Vakya that may be in another context, but I'm bringing it in the context. So vibhutis are there talked about in this grantha also. Puja Swamiji would not encourage all of this. He was not. He didn't like this manonasha vasanakshya. But then vasanas cannot. But he would say samskaras. Same meaning. Samskaras and vasana, it's they are paryayavachi shabdas. Pujya Swamiji was protective. People would go after vasanaksha and they won't get anything. All of that. So I don't want to get into the why there is difference and all that. I favor orthodoxy. I have a tilt towards orthodoxy. I value orthodoxy because of which the entire sampradaya, whichever sampradaya has come up, whether they see themselves as disconnected from orthodoxy or not, they are still because of the orthodoxy. I can't be so thankless. So I'll be very clear that I believe in Vasanaksha and Manonasha for Ananda Abhivakti. Those who do not care for Ananda and they say that Jivan Mukti is not Ananda Abhivakti Lakshana. There is no Ananda Abhivakti in this thing, it's okay. They can use that term. But Jivan Mukti Viveka, the title itself says Jivan Mukti Viveka. What is Jivan Mukti? Kanama Jivan Mukti. If you agree with that, because that Lakshana is not Kapola Kalpita, it is in Shastra only. So he brings out those definitions from Shastra and says that for this Manonasha, Vasanaksha is needed. So it is possible. At what, up to what degree is questionable, you can ask. To what degree? That's why, there is no degree. Till Videya Mukti, there is nothing else to do for the Jnani. Jnani can just get into, ekaki bhutva. You can have that, and then some have that prarabdha, so they will get into this, and Manonasha and Vasanaksha, they focus on that. That's why there is a gradation in Antakarana, not in Jnana. Jnana is same, but Jnani varies due to Antakarana, due to prarabdha. So if prarabdha has a lot of sukha bhoga, then one may get trapped in samsara. If there is dukkha bhoga also, one may get trapped in samsara as per samsara in the sense, not trapped that way. Videha Mukti is still going to be there. But Jivan Mukti, Ananda may not be there. In samsara, one may have a lot of sukha. We have seen this in, those who are interested can refer to Vicharasagara classes, especially in Hindi. If those who attended, if they remember, one who gets his food easily, Jnani, who gets his food easily, Viksha easily, is said to be having bad prarabdha, worst prarabdha. So he goes in and stays in the cave, but people bring him food. He wants to be in Ekanta, but he makes a bungalow inside the cave. There are people, there are places in Gangotri where you look at it, looks like a cave from outside. You enter inside, they have got a nice kitchen, they have got tiles, all of that. So people will say, oh, see, there are a lot of bhaktas flocking and pouring in money. True. But that is from the loka perspective. From his nishtha perspective, it is compromise. Therefore, from the shastra perspective, he has bad prarabdha. One who has, one who has to trouble for bhiksha, difficult to get bhiksha, that is said to be good prarabdha. Now, in the loka drishti, it may not work, but that is how it is. Shastra drishti is like that. So, manonasha, vasanakshaya are complex topics. How for that yoga prakriya is needed. Samadhi leads to that. Uh, Not only this, Vidyaranacharya in Panchadashi. So, if you follow Panchadashi also, Bhagavan Panchadashikara Vidyaranacharya says that uh, he has used the word samadhi also, and not samadhi which you can misinterpret. He says dharma mega. Dharma mega is purely yoga sutra darshana shabda. Bhagavan Vyasa himself wrote bhashya on same who wrote Brahma Sutra wrote there's a Vyasa bhashya on Yoga Sutras where this dharma mega word has been used. Dharma mega leads to vasanakshaya. Even Panchadashikara Bhagavan says that it counters samskaras, vasanas. You say samskara, I say vasanas, same issue. So there is no difference. What do you say? Potato, potato. So same meaning. Potato, potato, potato. So same meaning. Whatever you pronounce, okay, the difference is there. So nonetheless, so मनोनाशय so fourth is योगा वशिष्ठ वेदांत का ग्रंथ है. तो क्या इसमें भी त्वम तत् और असि पद पर विचार किया गया है? Yes. Bhagavan Rama starts with Vairagya of Rama. How did Bhagavan Rama get Vairagya? As a child, as a kid, he went around, took a break, sabbatical from the from this thing, and then came back home. It starts off like that. Came back he wouldn't talk to anyone. A royal prince does not speak to anyone, does not care for any bhoga. So then, some Rishi Muni comes and then he asks a question there. Vasishta, then so the story starts like that. So they see that he is into that sthiti, he has got a taste for that jnana. Then the teaching begins. So that entire teaching is what? You are a Brahma there, you are Chaitanya. So that is what. So whether exactly like that or not, it is Yoga Vasishta is a very exhaustive and quite an expansive grantha. Laghu Yoga Vasishta itself is will take 2 years of study if you study one per day. So there is this what's his name? Venkateshananda, Swami Venkateshanand ji, who was a Shishya of Swami Shivananda, Gurudev Shivananda of Divine Life Society. He has written 2-volume books in English, one shloka per day. He recommends you don't go faster than that. One shloka per day in 2 volumes. There are 365. So I think it will take 2 years. 365 per book. So it's to get to the core in Yoga Vasishta Yoga Vasishta is very difficult because it is full of stories inside stories. It's those who have seen the movie Inception. It is multiple level of inceptions. So they're all inspired from Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad just talks of Swapna. Inception movie talks about Swapna inside Swapna. You are dreaming inside a dream. So multiple layers. So Yoga Vasishta is Kalpana after Kalpana after Kalpana after Swapna. It's multiple layers. Sometimes it's difficult to understand where you are. Story inside a story inside a story inside a story. So, but very difficult to get inside the core. So those who are interested can look up Mumbai. There is this Swami, I forget his name. But I think he has Arsha Sampradaya, Turiya something. If I find a link, I'll send you. I spoke to that Swamiji when he was in Rishikesh. First time I met him, somebody introduced me. So he said that he's working on Yoga Vasishta. He wanted me to help out. I declined. I said that I can't participate. I can't spend time in because it is too time consuming. I said that I can't do editing of such things, or even he wanted me to listen to his and do transcriptions. I said it's too time consuming. I was already doing Katha Upanishad of Pujya Swamiji. I was editing. I said, I can't, I don't have that bandwidth, and it is too time consuming. I want to study and teach more granthas. There are a lot of classes which are pending requests. I don't teach on my own, but whatever is asked, if I can teach, I teach. So till today, I have not taught anything which is unasked, so not requested. And I would like to study more. So we had some discussion, and then he said that, okay, why don't you expand on what I'm doing? When we discussed and all that, he looked at the background. He says, I will be ending with 10,000 core shlokas of Yoga Vasishta. Maybe you can expand it to 40,000 in your life. So that's what he told me. So here, Yoga Vasishta is Vedanta Grantha. It is Yoga Grantha also. Yoga and Vedanta don't have real opposition there. I have told you earlier also, there is only one sutra which says, with Sankhya refutation, Yoga also has been refuted in Brahma Sutra. But that can't be. Meaning Yoga cannot be refuted with Sankhya refutation, because Yoga starts where Sankhya stops in practice. And that is not discounted, because that is supported by Vedanta. Because it is Vedanta. See, yoga, Ashtanga yoga is Vedanta only. Why? Because Vedanta is Upanishad and Ashtanga yoga is Upanishad. I've told it earlier also. So there is no question of this Yoga Vasishta not being a Vedanta Grantha. It is based in Yoga Vasishta itself talks about samadhis. Samadhis are part of Upanishad, and it is also part of Vedanta. So there is Tvam Pada Tat Pada. Yes, it talks extensively of that, but you have to search, because it is hidden in so many stories. Not one level, multiple levels. Okay. Fifth question, क्या अष्टावक्र गीता उपनिषद का निचोड़ है? Yes, Ashtavakra Gita is considered as a core this thing, but it is very difficult to understand, because not difficult to understand. I would say can be difficult to understand, can be misleading also. Like Mandukya. Mandukya also can be misleading. There is a high risk if somebody who has not studied anything and does not have Chitta Shuddhi reads Mandukya, and we have a lot of Neo Vedanta which has come up from Mandukya and Ashtavakra Gita. Because anything and everything goes, and you say you are Mukta. Does not work. Without Chitta Shuddhi, without Ishvara, without Karma Yoga, none of these will work. It appears to work. It is on Jnana Bhasa. So Ashtavakra Gita is very core Grantha. Yoga Vasishta so as well, but Yoga Vasishta takes you through a lot of stories and gets you there. Ashtavakra directly hits that. So it is very appealing to many, but it can take one. It's see, if you are ready, Ashtavakra is a great Grantha, just like Mandukya. If you are not ready, you understand, any general view. Anybody who is not ready, it's a disaster. One who does not have any sadhana, for that person, Ashtavakra, Gita, Mandukya is not taught. There are some places, I've heard some old Acharya, he would take, even if there are many sannyasi, he would see who is eligible for Mandukya, he would take him elsewhere so that they don't get it, and then teach him elsewhere. Mandukya is that level of rahasya. Ashtavakra Gita is also like that. Ashtavakra Gita started in Janaka's court, but I think Janaka's court, but Ashtavakra, he had bodily eight elements, looked very ugly. So somebody insults him and then he wins the argument. He teaches this. That is Ashtavakra Gita. But then those who are ready with that mindset, only for them, Ashtavakra Gita is core Upanishad. Otherwise, it is very risky. If for one who does not have sadhana, I just want to put it on record, one who does not have Karma Yoga and Ishvara in their lives, for them it is very risky. Otherwise it is a great study. Okay. So that is fifth question. Last question, क्या साक्षी ही ultimate है? Sakshi is it? Yes. उससे भी आगे कुछ है. Sakshi is Brahma. So Sakshi as an individual, if you say, because there is Sakshi word is used as Jiva Sakshi, there is another word used, Ishvara Sakshi. We have seen this. In Vichara Sagara, there is a lot of inquiry done. Sakshi word generally when it is used, it means Kutastha. Kutastha, Sakshi are interchangeable, Pratyagatma, individualized. This Sakshi individualized by Upadhi. Upadhis are Mithya, therefore this Sakshi is one without a second. Ekameva Dvitiya, Brahma only. But when in the Prakriya Avastha, when in Tatpada Twampada Shodhana, Sakshi is separated out as Kevala, Kutastha, Pratyagatma, to separate from drashta. That was your earlier question. Drashta and Sakshi are different. Sakshi is Swatah Siddha. Drashta needs Antakarna to come up and also needs Bimba, Sakshi Chaitanya to bring up that Drashta, meaning there is a dependency to show up also. Needs Sakshi. In that Prakriya Avastha, Tatpada Shodhana, in Tatpada also, Ishvara is Tatpada, but Ishvara Sakshi is separate from that Tatpada Ishvara, who will be said to be Nirguna then. That Ishvara Sakshi, who does not have Maya as Visheshana, Maya becomes Upadhi, that Upadhi is Mithya, Maya, and then who remains is that. These two are one. What is the Swarupa of Sakshi? Satchidananda. Which Sakshi? Ishvara Sakshi also and Jiva Sakshi also. Then you say these two are both Satchidananda, they are one and the same. But there is nothing other than after Sakshi, there is nothing other. But Visheshana is added to differentiate as to Jiva Sakshi and Ishvara Sakshi. There is no Jiva and Ishvara there. Therefore, Sakshi is one and that is Satchidananda. Clear? So hopefully this answers, this helps. These are all the questions, 8 questions answered. There is a chat question. What is it? Swami Shuddha Bodhanji, yeah, perhaps a Primama. Shuddha Bodhan. I have trouble with names, and in Arsha there are so many names, so many sannyasis, so many names. With a little twist, you land somewhere. Somebody will have, there will be multiple people with same name also possible. So very difficult to remember. I remember one name, Vishwaswarupananda, which is, very Vishwarupananda or something, not on Vishwaswarupa, Vishwarupa. Who was old Kerala Swamiji who stays in Haridwar now. Otherwise, I have difficult. Shuddha Bodhanji only, I think. I remember his Purvashrama name because that is unique, someone told me. But anyway, that is irrelevant here. Mumbai, some something, Turiya Bodha. I think Turiya Bodha. Perhaps Turiya Bodha. Let me just look up in this thing. Turiya Bodha. So there is a Turiya Bodha. That's what I remember. He has named in is this thing. Yeah, turiyabodha.com. So you can have a look at that, turiyabodha.com. And there, I think he may have Yoga Vasishta also. It was yet to be, yeah, Swami Shuddha. Yeah, it's Swami Shuddha Bodhananda. Yeah, Swami Shuddha Bodhananda only. Shri Visveshwara Trust. So, very knowledgeable and quite orthodox also. He has got an excellent study and teaching background also. He has touched granthas which in Arsha Sampradaya they are not touched. So I have a lot of respect to Swamiji. I met him only a few times when he was in Rishikesh taking this some. So Yoga Vasishta is something that will take time to study also. It's a core grantha. If Yoga Vasishta appeals, everything else will stop. So Yoga Vasishta is a Nididhyasana grantha. It is not even Manana grantha. Yoga Vasishta will lead to, it favors Samadhi. So Samadhi has overlap with not in Manana. You cannot have Manana in Samadhi. So Samadhi, it's a Nididhyasana grantha, Nishtha grantha. For everything, it will drag you back to this thing. So there are other granthas also like that, which are core.
Where is ashram of Swamiji, Swami Sudhibodhananji ashram?
Sorry? That is it. That's
Present
it.
his ashram?
Vishweshwara Trust. He stays in Mumbai and that's his ashrama. Where he stays, that's the ashrama. He does not have a large place or anything. As far as I know, he stays in an apartment. Mumbai, you cannot have an ashrama per se. Outskirts, maybe. I think he stays in core Mumbai, not even suburbs. He is in, it's with core Mumbai. There is a core Mumbai also. South Mumbai is considered as Mumbai. For that, even Bandra is suburbs. So Santa Cruz, Andheri, all of these are suburbs only. But I'm talking of from the modern suburbs, like Vasai. My Purvashrama was in Vasai. So from that Santa Cruz, I think it is in Santa Cruz. So that's very core Mumbai only. We consider it as core Mumbai there. But Mumbaiites, South Mumbai, they consider it as, like you have in Delhi also, South Delhi and all that. So anyway, so all this is an aside. I hope this is helpful. I'll see you in the other part. We did a little, but questions are to be taken because this chapter will deal with this. It will need this background because here you will see there's a lot of prose also in the 3rd chapter. So a lot of tarka. And with earlier questions pending, we can't move ahead. and I'm assuming thanks to Yogi ji asked questions. Some of them may or may not have had these questions, and if they had, they didn't ask. And I'm sure that at least few of you will have these questions or will find these questions valid, right?
Yes.
You may not have it, but then may not be able to answer also. Some may have answers. I don't deny that. Some questions you may have answers for, not all. So I wanted to take it in this class so that, I mean, not, right there as long answers. It is better in a live class so that I can see faces also. Yeah. So we'll see more of this Grantha in the next Patha. And please, you are welcome for this questions. We have not taken Q&A sessions. So primarily today was a Q&A. Last Patha also, most of it was Q&A. So this Q&A sessions, I don't do separate Q&A because I encourage anyone to stop the class and ask the question, related question then. Unrelated questions to that, you can ask at the end of the Patha. But questions I have always been welcome. I'm blessed with less students. So I have the luxury of taking questions whenever I want. Unlike, I mean, I've not seen anyone else who does that. They all say reserve the questions at the end or you talk to me later. I prefer questions during class. It's a dialectic. I encourage anyone and everyone to ask questions. Don't be shy of questions. All questions are valid. Yes, sometimes if it is out of context, don't ask me samasa or such questions during the patha. I have asked people to reserve. These are all unrelated questions. I consider all sutra and they come up is okay. I may bring up some Vyakarana also. What Vyakarana questions I do not encourage during the Patha. If you do not understand how the connection is, then yes. Because Artha is Pradhana in study, in Vedanta study. What Sutra applied, why this form, what is the Samasa here. If I explain the Samasa meaning, then how this Samasa is possible, all this. If that meaning is not appealing, please ask questions. At the end of the question, you can ask me all sorts of questions at the end of the Patha. I'll see whatever I can do. But during the Patha, it goes elsewhere. I personally don't prefer. My class usually doesn't go elsewhere, but looking at faces, sometimes I lighten the moment. I go elsewhere, but not so much as others. I prefer a textual study because it is very pinpointed. It is the reason it is like that is because Tikakara, the Moolakara, Sambandhokti Tika, they have this particular format because jnana works in this manner. We cannot go elsewhere and go to all sorts of stories and then lose track of the flow. The ajnana will be counted only in jnana, which is a textual study. So without the pankti, I don't encourage study without the pankti. Orthodoxy prefers panktita. This thing, it should not be everything should be just literal. So you should do more. But then in the patha, leaving the pankti aside, I do not encourage that study. I don't prefer that study, and I don't do it either. So just another this thing. So I've taken 15 minutes more. My apologies. So यत् साक्षात् सच्चिदानंदं प्रत्यगद्वैमक्रियं तन्नमामि नृसिंह योगी गम्यं परम पदम. नमस्ते, धन्यवाद.
धन्यवाद स्वामी जी।